everyone, my name is Deborah Cagg. I am a student at NAU. Over the past couple of days, I have done some research on polar bears, and today I would like to share with you what I have learned. First, I would like to paint a mental picture of what it's like for a polar bear's mother. By March, when a mother polar bear departs her den with her nursing cubs in sub-zero temperatures, she is ready to eat. By this point, she has fasted for 8 months and she has lost half of her body weight, which is about 400 pounds. After leaving her den, the first thing she does is head to the frozen water to hunt. Fortunately, her emergence onto the sea coincides with the birth of baby seals, which is her primary prey from April until the summer when the ice breaks up and the seals disappear into the open water. Now she is in a desperate race against time because she has to pack on enough pounds of fat to get her through her long fasting period, which is through the summer and the fall. If she doesn't put on enough pounds of fat, she will become too lean and she will stop producing milk, which could mean certain death to her baby cubs. Now that you have a mental picture of what it's like for a mother polar bear, let's go over some basic background information about the polar bear. First of all, according to the World Wildlife Fund, there are about 22,000 polar bears in the wild, and 60% of those live in Canada. Secondly, in May of 2008, the polar bear species was put on the threatened species list. Polar bears are the first species to be in danger from global warming. Some experts believe that due to global warming, that polar bears could be extinct by the year 2050. They could become extinct because the ice they depend on for hunting their prey is literally melting under their paws. In fact, on December 12th of 2006, scientists from the National Center for Atmospheric Research made a statement that said the Arctic could be ice-free by 2040. Now that you know some of the basic facts about the polar bears, let's discuss how global warming is affecting the polar bear population. Tonight, some of the main issues we will cover are polar bear-related food shortages, weight losses, drownings, and low cub survival rates. One place affected by global warming the most is the Hudson Bay in Canada. Ian Sterling, a Canadian Wildlife Service scientist, has studied polar bears for more than 30 years. Because of his extensive studies, a connection between global warming and the deteriorating body conditions of polar bears has been made. The Hudson Bay bears are the most studied bears in the world. For over 2 decades, the Sterling team has captured over 80% of the adult bears at the Hudson Bay, and they have tagged, measured, and weighed each one of them. According to Sterling, polar bears in the Hudson Bay are thinner and in poorer condition than what they were 20 years ago. Sterling documented that between 1980 and 2004, the average weight of an adult, mature female dropped from 650 pounds to 507 pounds. According to Sterling, the decreases in weight can be attributed to the ice melting earlier, which means bears have less time to hunt. Due to a shorter hunting season, numerous bears are feeling the effects of a food shortage, and they are facing starvation. In fact, according to the website EnvironmentAbout.com, in the spring of 2006, scientists found the bodies of several polar bears that had starved to death. Now that you know more about how the disappearing ice is affecting the food supply of polar bears, let's take a look at some other ways the melting ice is impacting the polar bears. Global warming is causing drowning-related deaths for polar bears. Because of the disappearing ice, polar bears are having to swim as far as 60 miles in the open sea to find food. The ice floes that bears hunt on are melting and drifting farther apart, which is forcing the bears into longer journeys to find food. The longer journeys can lead to exhaustion and hypothermia. Stephen Armstrong, a research wildlife biologist with the USGS, said, "We know short swims up to 15 miles are no problem for the bears. And we know that 1 or 2 may have swum to 100 miles to catch prey. But that is the extent of their ability. And if they are trying to make a longer swim and they encounter rough seas, that can mean big problems for them." In fact, according to the National Wildlife magazine, in 2004, 4 drowned polar bears were discovered by researchers from the U.S. Mineral and management service teams. Now that you know how global warming is causing food shortages, weight losses, and drowning-related deaths for polar bears, let's talk about how there has been a decrease in cub survival rates since the climate has been getting warmer outside. A recent study A recent study by the U.S. Geological Survey Center in Alaska discovered that 43% of polar bear cubs in the western Hudson Bay area survived their first year in 2004, compared to a 65% survival rate in the 1980s and 1990s. Unfortunately, fewer than half of baby cubs will live to be an adult. At the Hudson Bay, scientists have found the main causes of death the lack of food or fat on nursing mothers. This can be attributed to the ice melting earlier in the season than what it did 20 years ago. Since the time to hunt for food is shorter, nursing mothers don't have enough time to store up body fat to provide nutrition for herself and for her young cub during their fasting period. In fact, over the past 15 years, females have been increasingly leaner at the beginning of summer. Now that you know about declining survival cub rates due to global warming, let me summarize what I have presented to you so far. Global warming is threatening the existence of polar bears in a huge way. Due to global warming, the average weight of bears are decreasing, and they are faced with starvation. Also, the disappearing ice is making it difficult for bears to find food because they are having to swim longer distances, which has caused polar bears to drown from exhaustion. Another result of global warming is a declining cub survival rate. Cub deaths can be linked to longer summers since mothers don't have enough time to hunt for food. Polar bears have survived for centuries in one of the harshest climates on the Earth, but they may not survive the end of this century if current global warming trends continue. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you for listening to my presentation on polar bears and global warming.